Welcome to another Darebee video. I'm David, your host, and today's video is going to be about nutrition, or more specifically my nutritional strategy, as opposed to what I eat every day, which would not work, and I will explain why. First of all, thank you to those of you who put in comments and suggestions and emailed me asking for this approach, this nutritional strategy. And also thank you for a couple of people who were kind enough to go engage on a back and forth with me on email while I tried to sort of pin down what would be best in terms of sharing with you. As you know, Darebee in its entirety, the entire ethos of Darebee is about giving you the tools, the knowledge and information you need in order to make better choices along your life journey and your fitness journey. So in that regard, it can't ever be prescriptive, and we certainly aren't. And I'm not going to be prescriptive today in what you can eat and what you can't eat, because that would be counterproductive. So what I will say, to give you an idea of where I'm coming from, is that essentially for a large part of my life, and I covered this in the video on fitness, when I explained how I train, my fitness and nutrition needs were taken care of for me by trainers and instructors and teammates, because I was doing competitive martial arts. So I didn't have to think about it too much. I stopped competing in martial arts about the year 2000. I'm 59 years old now as you're watching this video. And I had to sort of think then for myself, what is it that I need to put in place so that I can maintain my fitness, maintain my functionality, maintain my ability to be mentally and physically responsive to my environment and thrive as opposed to survive. That's the approach I'm going to share with you today. Before I get to that, I'm going to add one more thing. Because of my background, my relationship with food is fairly dispassionate. I just view it as fuel, and that makes some of the choices which I needed to make a lot easier. We know that food, for many people, is a psychoactive compound. It basically changes how they feel. It becomes the sort of certain foodstuffs become the drug of choice when they feel under pressure, when they feel stressed, or they feel that things are getting bad around them. That's perfectly fine if this is you, if you identify this issue in yourself and you're trying to untangle it. This is what I will say. Be kind to yourself. It's not a fault and it's not a failing. Take it slow. Make small changes. See what fits. Don't be afraid to experiment. I experimented on myself. I put together my own strategy. I made it work for me. You need to do the same. We're all different. We're all unique in some way. What works for one won't work for the other. But what has helped one person become better and improve can certainly help somebody else if they know how they did it. So with that said, let me explain to you how I approach my nutritional needs. I need about between 3,000 and 3,500 calories a day. I don't count calories in my food. I kind of know the calorific content of the foodstuffs that I eat, and I'm entirely plant-based. This has been, and I'm not advocating you do the same thing. I'm not advocating for that. This was a personal choice. Again, experimentation came into that element. It was a gradual thing where I sort of slowly cut down meat, cut down specific foods, and then I sort of kind of became vegetarian and then became entirely plant-based for reasons of my own. So I'm telling you this so you don't feel under any pressure. However, the schema of what I eat, the approach that I take, can be applied to any kind of food lifestyle. So you don't have to be plant-based. So I make sure that I have enough calories for what I need. I make sure that I have enough protein in every meal to help repair muscles and build muscles and maintain the muscle functionality of my body. I make sure that there's enough carbohydrates for energy, and I kind of control a little bit the fat content. Now, because I'm plant-based, this is not so much of an issue, but it is still an issue because there are certain plant-based foodstuffs or meals which are quite high in fat, and I will sort of use them as a treat as opposed to making them an everyday thing. All right, so recapping that very quickly, calories, I make sure that I hit the mark, roughly. Rule of thumb, I'm not very strict about it, but overall, I'm in a ballpark figure. Protein, very important. I make sure every meal has protein, sufficient protein for my needs. Carbohydrates, I make sure that I have enough for those for energy, and fat, I try to kind of keep it within reasonable limits. Do I take any supplementation? Yes, I do. Actually, 3 things which are very important for me, which I'll mention them. Now, one thing is creatine. Creatine comes from meat. If you already have meat in your diet, you don't have to worry about this. I don't, so actually I have to add it in. I add about 3 grams of plant-based creatine, plant-based sourced creatine in my diet. Creatine helps essentially replenish the ATP that the body uses faster. So it gives you a little bit more energy, especially when you work out, but you feel a lot more energetic throughout your day and basically throughout your life. Vitamin B12, again, this is a neurological thing. It helps the body's central nervous system. It helps the peripheral nerves and everything else maintain their health. I take that every day. B12, again, comes from meat, but it doesn't come from it, rather it comes through it. For those of you who know, animals that graze get B12 from the environment because they absorb the bacteria and microbes that give them B12, and then we get it. Animals that don't graze, that are farm grown or industrial farm grown, they have vitamin B12 added as a supplement to the animal feed. It stays in their body, so when then they find their way into our food chain, we ingest it that way. I don't have animal products in my diet, so I have to take it as an extra supplement. And the other thing which I take every night religiously is protein shake before I go to bed. So these 3 things, creatine, 3 grams a day, vitamin B12, and protein. Now, a protein shake. Now, why do I need an extra protein shake? Well, because I don't religiously follow, break everything down, I I don't want to be very restrictive in what I eat. I kind of ballpark figure it, and I always exercise caution when it comes to protein. We know from studies that if you take more protein than you should late at night, last thing in the day, it's only beneficial. Your body helps in terms of muscle repair and muscle building. So I do that, and if it is more than I need, well, it's not a big issue. So recapping all this, I have my diet: protein, carbohydrates, and reduced fat. I take creatine, I take B12, and I have a protein shake. Are there any restrictions in what I eat? Well, there are a couple. I don't drink alcohol at all, and I have cut down on sugars. I try not to have any kind of sugar in my diet, any kind of processed sugar. If I need a sweetener, I'll reach for honey or date syrup or maple syrup, and I'll use those. Sweeteners, sugars are essentially kind of processed sugars are kind of have a kind of negative effect in the body. They give you a massive energy boost, which sometimes can help your body when you need it, but a lot of the times also helps abnormal growth cells and all sorts in the body, including some cancers. And I try to avoid that because I'm getting older and I do worry about these things. I never drink alcohol. This hasn't been a big issue for me because for a large part of my life I didn't. So cutting out alcohol entirely has not been in any way a massive leap for me. If it is for you, I would say just try to reduce it and just go from there. The same thing goes for sugar. If you think I'm asking you to cut down sugar, well, I kind of am because it's going to be beneficial to you, but I know it's difficult, so just try to reduce it and see how it works for you. So that's my nutritional strategy. This is what I put in place. The reason I put all that in place is because it reduces inflammation, maintains my body younger more easily. It helps maintain the fitness and nutrition that I need for somebody who trains every single day. I hope this has helped. Please let me know in the comments below Do let me know if there's anything else you need me to cover from my own personal life journey and fitness journey. And thank you so much. Thank you for your attention. I really do appreciate it. As you probably can tell, I'm still kind of used to this. I'm not used to sharing all this about me, which is, kind of personal. But because it does help you, I'm willing to do it. So please let me know if it has helped you, any kind of things which you need to know on top of that, and any kind of ideas you may have which we could perhaps cover. And we have a great many things coming throughout the year. So do make sure you subscribe to the channel. Take care.